Hey, yeah. Hey, Shaggy SoCal Tool for Forza. I'm sorry. Looking at the car going, those PPG logos on the front of the car could probably be just a smidgen smaller. But anyhow, I'll do that between streams. But yeah, time for next round of track guides for this season 9 in Thursday Night Thunder. Yeah, I would say probably two of the most drastically different races this week. So I thought I'd start with Daytona, which then in the back of my mind, I'm going, I don't know how much of a track guide this really is. But there are a couple of things to point out that we're going to have to be careful of. So we'll do Daytona first, and then I'll come back, and then we'll do the Nordschleife as the other race. But so for Daytona, I'm not sure. I'm not going to do much of a track guide on this one because it's really just foot to the floor and turn left and don't hit anything. But I do want to talk about kind of the critical things we're going to have to deal with. So let me just go ahead. I just want to run some laps here. Let's go to car. Let's go to fuel and tire, and yeah, let's switch to the softs. So the tricky part with the start, and I still have to figure it out myself, is I'm pretty sure Matt's going to turn off traction control, which I don't know that that's a bad thing. But we are doing a standing start on the banking. So trying to get this car off the line, really, it's going to slide no matter what. So you got to find that right amount of revs. So we'll do it right there. So it is kind of a, let me actually do that again. So, my advice with the traction control on is you don't want to bang the rev limiter, because depending on where it's hitting the hard limiter when you go and traction control kicks in, it can really bog the car down. Similar thing here without traction control, it's the same philosophy. You don't want to be so high in the rev range that you spin the tires up, especially here with the banking. You really want to be as smooth as possible. So let me just do this one more time, see if I can do it better. For those of us that are going to start towards the back and have to hold the brake. So I'm just going to get the revs to just about red line, the noted red line. Release, and then slowly roll in. But if I roll in too quick and the tires start to spin up, just get out of it and roll back in. The whole idea is you don't want the car to go voa. You don't want the back tires to spin up and then have the car head up into the wall. Or if you're on the bottom, head up into the other car beside you. I did that to Jet Pilot on the shakedown. It was one of those weird things. He ghosted, and I'm like, oh, he's ghosting, so I'll just let the car go up, and then he reappeared at the last second, and it took us out. So that's going to be the key thing for the start, is just mind the wheel spin, let it go. Don't immediately mash the throttle when you start going. Let the car go. The revs are going to get way down. Then slowly roll in and let them build up. If they spike and you start to spin the wheels up, between that 4,000 and 5,000 RPM, out of throttle and roll back in. The straighter you can keep the car, the easier it'll be to get up to speed. And I think for this race, it really is. This one is a total track position race. It is going to be how many positions can you get on the start by everybody having issues, and even then, well, this one we're not going to be starting in buckets, so we're all going to be starting random. So cross your fingers for a front starting spot. If you get a good jump, if you get a good acceleration, and really, I would say if you're out the front, hold the bottom. It's going to be very difficult for anybody to pass you on the high side. This car's a brick. It tops out on its own at 185 miles an hour, and once someone gets a really good run, they might pop to the outside, and they might get a little momentum, may start going past you, but they're taking a long distance around, and they're now starting to push air, and it's just going to slow them down. So if you're in the front, hold the bottom. And I would say if you do that and you're consistent with that, you might get somebody drafting there. I know Fusion, and I think there's a little bit of merit to it. I haven't quantified the time. It's hard to quantify the slingshotting with somebody to see how much quicker that is over the course of a stint. But yeah, it's pretty much going to be, once we get going and we get the speed, it is a track position race. and it's all about holding your line and not making any sudden, unpredictable moves to the people, especially to the cars right behind you. You've got somebody on your bumper. Different lines. Again, I'm just doing a hold bottom here. It's still probably the quickest way around on your own. You can, if you want to do a little bit more traditional kind of attack and be on the outside and then dive into the inside in the corner, you can do that. It's marginally slower because you're still taking advantage of the shortest distance through the corners. And then as you kind of roll it, unwind the wheel, let it come up about the middle, you can do that. The slower line is the high line. It's depending, I think, once you're up to speed, whether you're on your own or you're in traffic, it's at least, well, let's find out. Let's finish getting through this lap on the low line. Just avoid the little marker there because that can, slow you down if you hit it wrong. So 48.5. So I'm actually going to run the high line. Just going to straddle try and straddle the white stripe, the painted stripes there. And if my guesstimate is right, I'll probably be about 2/10 off by the time I get out of this corner. 2/10 there, 2/10 at the other end of the track. So it's half a second slower on my own to run the high line. Run it there, let's just put about the middle. So yeah, it's almost 4/10 slower, just again traveling the same speed but it's greater distance. And in the draft, one other, we'll see how I do in the race. Again, the AI is a little bit tough to really do the drafting, the slingshotting, because they don't understand the concept. So the only other thing, talking about tires, I've been debating this here. The estimates I'm going to give for this race is not going to be 60%. I will actually, I'll tip my hand a little bit running tire tests. Pace doesn't start to drop off. Now think about it. We're running an oval, but it's not like Indy. Indy, it's relatively 90-degree banking in the turns at Indy, and it's 4 distinct corners. There's a bit more lateral load on the tires, a little bit more scrub, so they're going to wear out. Once they go past 60, you're going to notice a more significant drop-off in performance of the tire. Here at Daytona, 36-degree banking, I believe, in the corners. The banking is taking a lot of that lateral load, that lateral scrub off the tire. So 60% isn't a death sentence if you go past it. What I've noticed is the tires actually, we were talking about when I consider a significant drop-off, where are we at now? 33. Where it's costing me tenths per lap is, pretty much at 70%. And even then, the difference between, once it falls off and you kind of hit that drop-off point, the difference as far as the time-wise between going past 70, going to 70% or going past it, is just the equivalent of between hugging the inside versus the high line. It's maybe about 3 or 4 tenths a lap, even to go past 70. So, depending on what you want to do, and again, I'm doing these on my own. I'm not forcing any. I'm not in traffic. I'm not having to bump draft anybody there. But for the most part, yeah, you can run the tires easily up to 70%. You probably could maybe even run longer if you want to try and run longer. The risk is, once the car's up to speed, there's very little lateral scrub. There's very little. As long as you're very smooth with your steering, you can stay out quite a while on the tires. Where you might get hurt is if you lose control, you spin out, and you have to get back up to speed. Then that's where that 60%, if you pass it, is going to be problematic, because you're really not going to have any traction trying to get the car back up to speed. But at speed, going past 60%, not a big deal. fact, let's see, where are we at? We're almost at that point now. So soft tires, it looks like you might get 9-10 laps effective, which means about 20 laps in the hard. And I think it was Darby that said about he got about 13. I don't know where he hit the percentage, but that's about right. So it's 9-10 on the softs, 19-20 on the hards, at that 60% point. At 62. So yeah, I would say 9 laps to the 60% mark. But if you look, like now I'm being a little more try hard. I'm not really lost that much pace. I'm past 60%. Here at lap 9. How far off am I? I'm 15 thousandths quicker. Let's keep going. I want to see. I actually want to take it again to 70%. There's severe. We're at 70% on the rear. Let's see what the lap time looks like on lap 11. Let's see. We're just at that point. We are now losing time in the corner. But I'm only down by 0.03. 3 thousandths off. We're past 70%. And 5 thousandths off. Running the bottom. And I can hear the engine pitch dropping just a little bit. Now we're getting up. We're almost at about a 10th off. But, let's say I'm drafting somebody. I don't have to try and slingshot them. I can just stick behind them, and that'll make up some of that pace. So there's that 10th. So you can actually run up to 70%, and then that's where, even running by yourself, you're going to start losing a lot of time. I'm 65 here. I'll probably be 2/10 at the line this lap because we're over 80%. Can you run laps at 100% wear? The car's just creeping up just that little bit. Maybe. So I think for Daytona, I'm gonna just probably say, guys, I'm not going to give tire wear estimates because I think it's wide open. I think it depends on what you want to do. The draft, I think, will play into it. Now I'm 2/10 off. Now at this point, again, I can keep running at this point. I think the tires have fully fallen off, where maybe it's 3/10. I think if I get them to 100%, but I'm really not having to do anything really drastically different with the wheel. It's so little steering. The banking's taking care of a lot of the lateral scrub. I could probably cruise out here at 100% on the tires and only be a couple tenths off per lap. Now, I get bump draft or I get upset, then all bets are off because then the tires will have no grip. The other problem is not rewind, wrong button. Oh, that's a ways back. Let's just resume from here. So let's say, let's hit the emergency brake. Let's just say I do kind of mess up. Lock that down. Now, here's where the problem is. If I mess up and I lock up and I need to get the car back up to speed, that's the problem. That's the problem going past, running tires that far into their life. Is getting up to speed is going to be a little problematic. You're going to want to short shift and modulate the throttle to get the car back up to speed. So that's kind of a track guide for at least as much as I can do in a test drive situation. So let's go ahead and I want to get into a race here. I think just for sake of, well, I'll tell you what. Let's set it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the race up with what I think we're going to be, at least as far as distance, what we're going to face. I'll get that set up, and again, just for the whole bit rate, staticky, trying to prevent that. I'm just going to do a quick pause on the stream and come back, and then we'll get into the race. But let's just go ahead and set that up now. I'm going to go back to event menu. I should have done quick race. I want to back all the way out. Let's go exit because I want to reset everything up. Okay, so let's go to advanced event setup. Yeah, we'll go down here. Ford. Falcon. Okay, circuit race, Daytona, tri-oval, number of laps. I'm kind of going off of, I did 49-second lap, just kind of factor in for some pit stops, and divided that into that 35-minute mark. And it looks like we're going to honor Richard Petty, and it might be about a 43-lap race. And we'll see, how long my mock race takes, because I think this will actually be the closest sim to what we go through on a Thursday night, since there's no bucket delays. Starting time of day, I want to go random. Time progression rolling 4x. Partly, no, we're going to go random on the weather. I am not running in the rain, though. Dynamic truck rubber is usually on for races, though. I have been setting it 50%, but the last time I checked Matt's menu settings, he had it at 20 for the starting track number. So all driver track 8, all the drivatars. Cars, we're going to leave that set. We're all going to be in the same car. And I'm going to limit, I'm trying to, balance performance. I'm trying to rein in the AI a little bit. And capping them at 800 on the PI. Rules, sport rules, 5x tire wear, grid ordering. I am actually going to we do one mandatory pit stop. I will do that here. And okay, accept all. Okay, looks like it's going to be a dusk race. Could be wrong. Could be a morning race. Tell us about Daytona.
When the inaugural Daytona 500 ran the Speedway's Tri-Oval in 1959, it was the fastest track to ever host a stock car race. 42,000 screaming race fans witnessed a thrilling photo finish that took 3 days to adjudicate.
Wow. Well, again, that's, the benefits of modern timing and scoring. All right, so before I get into this, I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick pause in the stream just to reset the audio, and then we'll get into 43 laps at Daytona. Okay, so, all right, so we can only do, this car's only got 37 laps worth of fuel to use in it. Again, I don't know, this is the other weird thing, is I don't know that, as I think of fuel weight, it'll definitely, it would impact things like acceleration. It's more weight to get the speed, but I think just because of the flat out nature of the circuit, once you're up and going, if you even get a draft, I think we're all going to be running similar speed. So I think the difference is just, we'll see how it is with the compound. But yeah, this one I'm kind of like, this could be a fun race. This could be really, really boring because, once my worry is once we get into and things string out, then whatever position you're in, it's pretty much what you're going to be in for the race. I don't see a lot of drafting up, or it's going to be a lot of work, for maybe not a lot of benefit. So that's my personal opinion. I would love to be wrong on that and have a really exciting race. But let's go ahead and go with, you know what? I'm going to go with hards because I actually do want to just confirm that the 60% mark is about lap 20. And yeah, it's saying 2 pit stops. Yeah, I think we can run a little bit longer than that. But what I am going to do is I am going to put in, so 43, 20, 20, I'm going to put in 22 laps of fuel. A little higher, so that's 62%. Yeah, so I'll start with 62, and then on refueling on the pit stop, make sure there's an option for 60. That would at least allow me to be able to do it on one stop. I think I'm actually going to try one stopper and see what happens. So let's go ahead and 5X on there. Go ahead and hit done. And start race. Let's hopefully I don't wreck anybody on the start. And it looks like I'm about mid-pack, which is fine. Okay. Nice and easy on the start. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. This is where the AI is going to be a little bit dicey the first lap or two, because they will just randomly brake check, and they don't need to. But right now, I just want to try and get as many of these cars on the start as I can. Wide. Are we all slowing up? Oh my god. I would say my general philosophy with bump drafting is I do not want to bump draft to be on somebody's bumper in the corner, but I have no problems giving someone a little bit of a push. What I'm also looking for on the left side is I do want to try and time it so that be as close to them as possible if I'm not going to slingshot, but then back off enough going into the corner so that I'm not, again, I don't want to be on somebody's bumper as they're trying to turn in and get them up and get the back end of the car upset. So I might be right on here. So I was usually using the stripe. So when I see that, there we go. So what I'm looking for is, oh, please no penalty, no penalty. Oh.
Time penalty is about 1.5 seconds.
So yeah, don't cross the yellow line. What I'm kind of looking for on the markings on the pavement is where the line breaks. So I'm looking here, back off a little bit, roll right back in. Again, just gives a little bit of space. Plus, if I do want to set up a draft, being about 2/10 back, you usually get a decent enough draft out. And if I want to try and go the high side, but even there, whoop. Again, the IA feels like he's getting pinched a little bit, so they back out of it. So I'm going to actually run the high line here, because I do want... It's no fun for me if I can't at least practice in the draft a little bit. You've got the inside. Why are you moving up behind me? I'm giving you the inside. There, thank you. 3/10 off coming out of the corner. How big of a run does that give me? Not enough. So if I find like I'm a little bit trapped and I don't have any traffic to my outside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the high side. Again, the high side's about 2/10 slower through the corner. It'll allow me to back off a little bit, drop back into the draft. I think the key to the slingshotting is whoever's getting past probably will need to lift slightly to allow the slingshot to complete. You're being really slow in the corner. catching some slower traffic. Alright, fine. I will leave. 6 laps in. Oh, we just finished lap 5. So yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong tires. 20%, 17%, 18%. And we might be able to get 20 laps out of them. Again, going past 60% isn't a death sentence on your grip, because the banking, takes a lot of the mechanical grip work out of the tires. Got a little bit of a run, that's very nice. I'm gonna back off a little bit. Let you drop down. Oh, maybe the AI can grab. Get the same shots. Tenths back, I got it good. Now I think this is the other thing running with the AI is they're not necessarily running the same kind of setup that we are. So I think Cobra on his own is probably able to get over 185 by himself, whereas I'm kind of aero limited, but conversely a lot slower in the corner. But I think the AI in general are slower in the corner. We've got third place also joining the party. So I'm going to back off a little bit, see if I can. Come on, I want a drafting party. Let's go. Come on. Get by me. Alright. Expecting the brake check. I think the Marine Corps in front of us has just got a much faster car in a straight line than Cobra and I do. But I will take advantage of the AI being slow in the corners. One more lap and we'll do a tire check. But let's just go ahead and hold the bottom for this lap, because again the AI will not know what to do with that. So I don't think they won't know, but let's find out. Yeah. So again, they get up on your bumper and they're like, oh, getting a little close, gotta check up. And so yeah, turn 10, I think we can work on that a little bit for some of the pack racing. Just especially on the tri-oval is, allowing the AI to be a little bit more comfortable being right on the player's bumper. Alright, tire check. Are we under 30%? A little bit over. Again, I would still say the tire wear is really, the drop-off is at 70% here. So yeah, I'll do 20 laps. Actually, I'm gonna go to 20. I think I'm gonna go to half distance. I'll go to 22. 22. Yeah, I'll go to lap 22, and then I'll pit and run, maybe I go to lap 21 and I run 2 laps on the softs just to prove a point. Let's do that. Full defensive here. Went by, you got to go on the high side. About a half second off my quickest time, but then that's mainly due to the difference in the draft. So for those of you on the wheel, one thing you might want to do, if you find that, depending on your wheel position, if you find that your right deltoid is getting a little tired, you can adjust your grip. Just take your left hand, put it more kind of at that 10:30, 11 o'clock-ish position, and pull down more on the left side of the wheel than pushing with the right side. That'll take some of the stress off your right shoulder. It takes a little bit of practice though. If you're not used to doing that, run some laps doing that, because the first couple of times you do it, you might, it takes a little bit to kind of develop the touch, because you really don't need to turn the wheel all that much to get the car to the corner. You can relax the other arm here a little bit. Maybe be able to just kind of lean back and just, ride one-handed. Nothing else. Uh-oh. Jones has got to run. Yeah, typical drivatars. Be careful with the curve. You're going to run the bottom. The other thing to consider is just run as close as you feel comfortable, but you don't really want to start, especially in the middle of the corner, you don't want to straddle onto the apron with the left sides, where then the car, where you've got half the car on the flat and the other in the banking. That will upset the car, it'll slow it down, it might push the back end out a little bit. And if we don't have tire wear on, not tire wear, traction control on, can't hold the outside. He's got a better run this time. All right, can you get the pass completed there, 4 mode? It's no longer 4R mode, it's just mode. It's AAR mode. Gotta get the clan tags right. Ooh, I will take that little bit of draft. Are you kidding? Yes, you are. Here's where, if you're thinking, like, I'm going to just say it straight up. You could do this in one stop. If you want to run on your own, and you want to do a one-stopper, you can make it work. I'm doing it on hards, but, I'm actually going to switch to the softs and do half the race on softs just to show that it can be done. Where the penalty might hit is you get two cars working together, and the slingshot will be marginally quicker per lap. I don't know, I haven't quantified the time, if it's a tenth, even if it's a tenth a lap, you go over 10 laps, that's a second, they can, further up the road they can get. So that's the risk of the one-stopper. If you don't have somebody to draft with that's on that same strategy, you may find yourself kind of in no man's land like this, running, kind of stuck at 185 miles an hour. So drafting buddies are probably going to be necessary. and just working with them, on how to get back and forth and just kind of agree to the process. So whoever's Fusion's drafting buddy is probably going to be an advantage because I think he's got that worked out almost to a science, where it's like he knows this is what you need to do. Here's how, back off here. I'll get the run there, and you get the run here. I'll back off there. So I would say Fusion's will probably be coming into this race with the most knowledge on how to make this little shot work. And how are we doing on tires? 3. Yeah, we're at that crossover point. Yeah. And you notice I'm really not worried about. You can just hear the engine is dipping a little bit more late in the turn, which is a sign that the tires aren't working as efficiently. But it's not that big of a hindrance. So we will box this lap. Look at the severe. So yeah, 20 laps on the hards. So tire wear for this race is going to be based off 70%, because this is where I'm going to really start losing time. But yeah, so it'll be 10 on the softs, 15 probably on the mediums, 20 on the hards. Your mileage may vary, but we're going to go ahead and box this lap. We'll throttle in. So we're going to go to the soft tires. Custom 60% fuel. So merging back on, 2 things. You're going to be in first gear. As soon as you get released from the pit lane, pop it to second, accelerate out. The blend line for me, I think what works best for the blend line as far as merging back onto the track is where the double yellow is blacked out, where up here. So you're going to see the brake. It's right about where the camera is where this is where I'll merge, because it's right before the banking. I think that works best. It allows you to get up to speed. It gives anybody on the front straightaway plenty of time to see you, and then a common point where we know you're going to merge back onto the track. So by staying out those couple extra laps, you have lost time to Cobra. So that's the risk. Now, again, AI, driver's hours, Cobra's probably a little bit quicker by himself than I am. And I don't know what traffic he was in, if he's getting a little benefit from the tow. So that's the trade-off. If you wanna try and one-stop it, that's fine. You're gonna save time on pit road, but you're gonna give up draft time on the circuit. But this is just to kind of prove the point, because I know when these tires will hit 100%, and so I'm going to be probably running the last 5 or 6 laps at 100% tire wear on all 4 corners. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see how bad it is compared to the AI. How many positions do I lose? The 101's coming. My only saving grace here is, and again, this is part of the strategy. They pitted a bit early, which makes me think they're going to pit a second time. If they do, I might be able to then leapfrog and take over the lead and win the race. But I think it really depends on what happens in this middle stint. Don't worry about Cobra. There's really nothing I can do, because even if I try to, if I trail brake a little bit to, back up and let the guys behind me catch up, I don't know that I'm going to get enough benefit of the draft to eat into that lead. And maybe that would work for us on Thursday since we're all running identical setups. But that's the pleasures, pains of free play. Is I can't get the drive cars to run the exact same setup that I'm running. Some will be a little quicker, some will be a little slower. Get that run on the outside, which is fine. Move up a little bit. What I'm going to try and do is, I know he's so much quicker on the straights than I am. Look at that. I'm just going to follow him for a lap and see if we eat into Cobra's lead at all. Because if we do, then it's worth kind of letting him pull me around the track. But if we're still losing time, and I'm almost better to just be like, nope, I'll leave you follow. Slow here at the second half. Maybe not. Good. Knock the 10th off. Cobra went into the pits. This might be that difference in tire wear, where I was talking like when I was saying earlier, when the tires were kind of over that 60% mark and hitting over 70%, that you guys just hear that little dip in the engine late in the corner, and that might be part of it, of why maybe he's a little slow. I take a longer distance just because I want to let him get about 2, maybe 2.5 tenths out, then drop back down. See about getting that run out. So I can get enough to get out and alongside, but it's really not enough to get past. So let's see if we can get try hard mode now. I'm going to back off a little bit. Tenth behind. Can I get enough of a run to get by? Can I get alongside? But I think on his own, he's running much quicker than 185, where we're that's where we top out. Quicker out of 4. Did pretty well there. 60%. They're catching slow traffic. It's kind of back to what I was saying earlier, like for you guys, if you happen to start up front, oh, shit. I was starting to drop in. He checked up a little bit, and I had to make the adjustment. And that's the other danger. If you have to make a sudden adjustment, get out of the throttle. If you stay in it, you risk spinning the back of the tires up. And okay, so my only hope right now for winning is if he still has to pit. So I just don't have the pace these guys have on my own to catch it. Now, Mode's going to come by me here, I believe, or he might get stuck on the outside. All right, severe tire wear. I am now past 70%. Let's see what we can do. This lap, I don't believe everything I read. Side. Lane. This isn't helping. We need the slingshot. We kind of need to work together. The worst thing I want to do is I don't want to chop the AI drive cars, because then their instinct is to then hit the brakes, and then it's like the whole point is pitting anyway. Ah! Are they both pitting? Well, there it is. They're following the, once they hit severe tire wear, they're going in at 70%. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to run. I'm going to run at the end of the race on softs and see what happens. Best I can. I'm on my own, so the only thing I can do is run the bottom. Right. A little bit of that draft. You just tell the attitude of the car when they hug the inside like that. They're going to pit. So I think that's what's gonna. Ultimately, I think that's gonna. Ultimately, I think that's what's gonna happen. They're all gonna fit. And I would probably have maybe. Well, at this point, Cobra. I've got an 18-second gap on Cobra. The question is, can he make that up? This isn't for position, so I'm not gonna fight you, but I'm not gonna give you the bottom. Pass me, you gotta take the long way around. How are we doing on tires? Hey, we're at 100% on the outsides. The worst thing that could happen to me right now, let's say I had that if I would have that moment now that I had earlier with USMC, where I had to kind of juke up high really quick, that would be probably disastrous now that I'm at 100% tire wear. So the key, if you're really going to run long, if you really want to push and try a one-stopper, you have to be as smooth as possible. No sudden moves, no sudden jukes or brake checks, because you don't have the lateral grip in the tires anymore. So this one I'm going to go a little high. Let's see if we can back out. Should be able to clear him. Back down. I'll do a tire check on the back stretch here. I want to see the moment we hit. Are we at 100? Oh, it's close. We'll be 100% probably at the end of this lap. Roughly 18 seconds. Okay, I'm not going to fight you, but you got to take the high line. We are at 100% all four corners. Cobra's eating in, so Cobra is eating into that lead. I'd say at this point, just provided I don't make any mistakes and lose control or, excuse me, have the back end step out. I don't think just 8 to 941 to 3. Oh, no time penalty, no time penalty. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, thank you. You know, five laps, 17 seconds in 5 laps. You might get to about 10 seconds back, maybe, but so it really, it's like this. I think for me, given how many of us been showing up for the last couple of weeks, you know, it's going to be a spread out race. We're probably going to be running by ourselves a lot. It's going to be kind of this kind of, so tactically at least. You know, you've got a drafting strategy. There's, you know, do you do 2 stops or 1 stops? Well, the drafting kind of plays into that. So it might be, you know, from a tactics race, from a strategy perspective, it might be somewhat interesting to see who does what and how well they do. But, you know, it just might be a lot of this. Just foot to the floor, hold the bottom. You know, block your laps. You're gonna take a look on the outside, that's fine. I only backed out of it because it looked like he was starting to come down. It's like you better see me there.
Three left.
See that? Think that Forza would have, you know, like, look, if I had 100% tire wear, you know, obviously they don't have blowout physics there, but I would think that would be, you know, something that's like, yeah, you run it, you hit 100%, that tire's gone. No, like, absolutely no grip. And going back to, you know, my early sim racing days with IndyCar racing. Actually, the first IndyCar racing game on PC, I had that. I accidentally was at Nazareth. I ran a little bit either a little bit too long or pushed a little bit too much on the tires, and with like a lap or two to go, the right front gave up and just flat sent me straight into the wall. And it's just one of those things, like I really wasn't paying attention to the tire wear. And okay, learned a lesson there. Gotta watch the tire wear. Nope, not giving you the bottom. Sorry. I hinted at it a little bit, showed you a little bit of the bottom, but no. Clover having to pit a third time. And that is Daytona. Daytona. The 47,459, that's definitely in the toe. 35. So yeah, it's I would say a 43 lap race is in the ballpark. That's probably actually, just looking at the race time and even factoring penalties, with one stop, you do a two stopper, you can see it's a little bit longer. So yeah, probably 43 laps is the race distance. But that's Daytona. Again, it's going to be a strategy race position strategy, track position race. Do you want to run long on tires, go way past 70% and only pit once? That option is there, but you're probably going to be giving up drafting with anybody unless somebody is doing that same strategy with you. Then you got to be careful on contact and not getting spun out, because then it's a bitch trying to get back up to speed. But there it is. Let's go ahead and hit that. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break and come back, and we'll do the track guide for the Nordschleife. Again, it's going to be another, it's going to be, again, we go from a very easy, foot to the floor, just, turn left a little bit of strategy, to probably one of the most difficult tracks in the game as far as lap over lap. But anyhow, I'm talking too much. I'll let you guys go. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Enjoy your Labor Day, and happy racing.